welcome back to Shutter Drives. If you are following us on Instagram, yesterday we asked you if you have any doubts, questions or clarifications on the Thar. And today we have a bundle of questions and we are going to answer them. Although we received enormous questions, in the interest of time, we decided to pick 40 of them. And do not worry, the rest of the questions have already been answered to you in the form of DMs. Let's start the questioners. And we're going to shuffle them. So the first question for the day is, how is the lag in automatic? Is there a dead pedal? No, unfortunately and sadly there is no dead pedal, and we really wish Mahindra had included one because it would help a lot in long distance driving in the automatic especially. And talking about the lag, in the city commute you won't feel any lag because the gear shifts are very smooth, especially when you're driving slow and in a sedate manner. But as you get ambitious and when you do pedal to metal driving, and that's when you realize that there is a decent amount of lag. It's close to 1 second, and which we think is quite high. So the next question, does it have the same off-road capabilities as its predecessor? Yes, in fact, I think it's much better in off-roading compared to the earlier Thar. Although the approach angle has slightly reduced, the departure angle is increased, the ground clearance is increased, and more importantly, the water wading depth has increased to 650 mm. You can check out our off-road video where we have taken it on serious off-roading across various obstacles, and we are very impressed with it. Would you prefer buying this or paying 4-5 lakhs more for the XUV 500? Honestly, it's a heart versus mind question. I mean, my heart would say that I want to buy the Thar and the mind would go for the XUV. But again, more importantly, it depends on what the requirements are. If your family is big or you plan to do long distance travel with 5 to 6 people or 5 people with lots of luggage space, then I think XUV would be the much better choice. But if you have a small family and if you are like if you are 2 to 4 people traveling with long distance trips, I think the Thar would make more sense. Is the access to backseat easy or difficult? I mean, honestly, when we had the earlier manual variant, we felt that the access to backseat was slightly better in that compared to this. Although that should not be the case in the production variants, but we did feel that it's fine, it's average, it's totally manageable for millennials like us. But the senior citizens or elders will certainly complain because it's inconvenient for them to go to the back seat by folding the front seats. Should I buy one? Okay, so this is coming from a person who already owned the earlier Thar and he sold it off because he was not happy with the niggles that he was facing. But I think you can actually wait for probably a couple of months and then pick the new Thar, because the initial batches, whatever the minor issues are, they would be resolved because you did not have a very good experience in the earlier Thar, and this is leaps, bounds and light years ahead than the earlier Thar. So I'm fairly confident, like 80 to 90%, that you would be totally happy with this variant compared to the earlier Thar that you had. Can we use the Thar as the primary car? It is one of the most asked question, and honestly it depends on the requirement. If you have a small family or and if you are focused towards off-roading, and there's no harm in having the Thar as the primary car, but I would really suggest you that you don't buy it impulsively. Do a lot of test drives and then buy the Thar. And especially if there are senior citizens at home, do ensure that you ask them a couple of times to get in and get out of the car, so that they are fairly confident that yes, this is the only car that they can live with in the garage and not regret later. So we have a slightly different question here. How to plan a Thar heist? I think someone's inspired by Money Heist, and I think Thar is a wrong choice to plan a heist because it's an attention grabber. Wherever you go, people are going to notice it. So I'm sure cops are going to be behind you. So I think you would rather be comfortable picking up a very mainstream car, like even a Creta or Seltos, but not Thar. And in case you still want to plan the heist, count me in. Can we remove the doors and roof? If yes, please demonstrate. Yes, you can remove the doors and the hard top in the hard top variant, of course. But the thing is, it's quite time consuming and it's challenging. And Mahindra claims that when you fit it back, it may not be the perfect finish as it came from factory. So we recommend that if you are a fan of an open top Jeep, then you could actually pick the soft top. But coming back to your question, yes, you can do that. Can you demonstrate? I think I would not be able to demonstrate because this is a media unit and which has to go to the reviews later on for the reviews, and I'm afraid it might cause vibrations or something. But if there's any video that I come across, I'll certainly send it to you on how to remove the hardtop for the Thar. Projector for headlamps. I think the halogen units in this Thar are doing a fantastic job already, and of course they are cheaper to replace in case they get damaged in off-roading, which I think they might actually get damaged. So yes, I would rather prefer the halogens compared to the projectors, and more importantly, I don't think it's dependent on if it's projectors or the LEDs, because what we found was the projectors here do a wonderful job compared to the LED units in the Hector, which are like totally no. At this price, Mahindra should give us start stop button when they can give us cruise control. Again, honestly, not a big fan of it because more the electronics, more the complexities, especially in off-roading vehicle, when there's a lot of water that's going to enter. When we took the car for off-roading in water wading, I mean there have been instances where the water was pretty deep and the car was pretty deep inside the water. And yes, in fact, given a chance, I would want the Thar without a cruise control, and it exists. I feel there's a slight vibration in the clutch pedal. Sorry, I'm not sure which variant did you drive, if it's the petrol or diesel, because I've driven the diesel variants only, about the manual and automatic. If there's something from petrol, then let's talk about it. But I didn't find any vibrations as such from the diesel manual that I drove. Are the rear seats comfortable for long drives? The only problem that I found in the rear seats are the poor underthigh support, but apart from that, they are actually wide enough. And in fact, one party trick is you can actually carry a couple of pillows with you and have the pillows on either sides of the seats, and you're going to have a very comfortable journey because the legroom is fantastic for a car of this size. It's a sub 4-meter SUV, and you're going to have a great journey, no doubt in that at all. Does this also have the same niggles as before? So one of the most anticipated questions. There were a couple of niggles reported in the earlier Thar. For example, the four-wheel drive light was popping up when we were driving in two-wheel drive variant, and the ESP light was also popping up, and the gear indicator was slightly faulty, that it was displaying wrong gear at times. And the fourth issue was there was this issue with the TPMS sensor. Even though all the tires were refilled, there was an issue. The TPMS sensor was malfunctioning. Only one issue is there and inherited in this car, that is the TPMS problem. So right now all the 5 tires are filled to the brim, but still the TPMS warning light comes up in this Thar. So that is the only issue that's being inherited to this car from the earlier diesel manual variant that we drove. How is the quality of plastics used? It's much better than the earlier Thar. The earlier Thar was more like the plastics inspired from, probably a wrong word, but tractor or something. But this does the job much better. The plastics, although they are hard, but they feel durable and long lasting, and they actually go with the rugged DNA of this car. But yeah, I mean, going for the softer plastics would again incur a lot of cost for the manufacturer, again translating it to the consumer. So this is fine, more than enough. I'm planning to go for a dinner date. Will the Thar be the perfect companion? Oh, that's a nice question. I think Thar is one of the best contenders for your dinner date. And honestly, I don't think the car should matter for your dinner date, but if it does, Thar is good. I think you should pick the soft top variant. You're going to have a great drive. And just a tip, when you hand over the car to the valet parking, please ensure that the car is in two-wheel drive mode and not in four-wheel drive low ratio, especially because he's going to freak out why the car is not moving when he's accelerating hard. What is HHC and HDC? HHC stands for Hill Hold Control and HDC stands for Hill Descent Control. HHC is basically the hill hold control. If the car is like this on a slope and you take your foot off the brake, the car is going to be stationary for that around 3 seconds. It won't come back, so that you can accelerate and go forward. There are no chances of the car rolling back. Hill descent control is opposite. So if you're driving down the hill and you activate hill descent control and you just leave off, so that the car crawls at its own pace. You don't have to step on the gas. Okay, so let's take a short break from the questions and we will be right back. So we are back after a quick break. We are here in different locations. It's a hot and humid day in Bangalore, and let's continue with the questions. What is the blue cap next to fuel lid? Interesting question again. So it's basically the diesel exhaust fluid which is there in the BS6 diesel vehicles. It is a composer of automotive urea and deionized water. So after all the process, what it does is it converts the exhaust gases from the engine through a various process which I'll show you here, and finally it gets converted to water vapor, which in turn help in reducing the pollution. Why do we need key to open the fuel lid? So one of the biggest factor behind this is the security reasons of preventing the petrol or diesel from being stolen, and that's why they decided to use the old school key method to open the fuel lid to refuel. And while it makes a lot of sense for the soft top variant, I think Mahindra should have gone a step ahead and had the the internal fuel unlocking system for the hard top. But one issue there is even the hard top can be removed. So in case the hard top is removed and you are going out for a quick break, there is a probability that the fuel might be stolen. So that is the reason behind it. And the second reason is it would affect the supply chains drastically had the system been different for both the different Thars. Like one gets the fuel lid with the internal locking system and other the external fuel lid, and again this would translate to higher costs. So the first reason is the major factor behind it. Is the wind noise noticeable after 100 kmph? Yes, definitely yes, especially after 120 or 130 kmph. You do notice that there's a lot of wind noise entering the cabin, and this is kind of a letdown because we're not talking about the soft top variant, we're talking about the hard top, and in hard top at least the wind insulation should have been better. Please talk about the accessories. So I'm going to drop a link in the description below where you can get the access to the accessories brochure, because it's a huge topic in whole. Why does the dashboard look old fashioned? I think the dashboard is meant to be like that. It's slightly more practical. You see, you have the grab handles here, you have the beautiful AC vents here. Although I agree that the dashboard is slightly taller and not the most modernistic of all, but it does the job. But I'm happy that the plastics are better than the earlier Thar. Mahindra is providing reverse camera as an accessory, but why no reviewer is talking about it? Honestly, because we review the cars that we get, the media unit, the top end of the stock variant, and we review them. We do not review accessories as such, but it's an interesting topic going forward. If there is something like that, a very useful accessory, we'll ensure that that comes up in the review as well. Thank you for that. I'll start going to college. Should I get one? If I were you, if I had the option to pick the Thar over the sub 4 meter compact SUVs, I would anyway pick the Thar for the college, because the swag and the cult status of Thar is totally different. And I recommend that you put the board in front, telling that the king of Mirzapur, nothing better than that. Is it a good car for family? I think we spoke about it in the initial part of the video also. One thing that I would seriously recommend is, if there are senior citizens at your home, please have multiple test drives. Ask them to get in and get on often, because initially due to the euphoria they might be very excited and be happy about it, but you do have to consider the long term replications of it, because one of my friend's mom who sat in the car told that it was slightly inconvenient for her to get in and get out of the car. Which is better, manual or automatic? Again, it comes down to what the requirement is for you. If I had to pick, I would pick the manual, because I would pick the Thar considering the off-road aspect also in mind, and manual is any day better than the automatic when it comes to off-roading. There's a lot of control from the start to end, Although automatic does offer a bit of control to this, and the behavior of manual is much better than the automatic, especially in the highways, and more importantly in overtaking you get all the freedom to choose from. How is the suspension noise over small and medium sized potholes? There is no suspension noise as such, but this being the short wheelbase and ladder on frame, we did find that when we were crossing two speed breakers, at like say like 15 km or something, the car was slightly tilting left and right, especially on multiple speed breakers when they are there together in Karnataka, especially, and there was something concerning. And there's no suspension noise as such, but it's not the most comforting ride of all. Is it worth spending extra money on the old one? I don't think you can buy the old one. It's not for sale. It's discontinued. I rather prefer that you buy the new one than the used car option of the old one, because the new one is much better than the old one. We have discussed that in review multiple times, so please check that out. What is the max speed on highway? So there's a disclaimer. I really do not encourage that you do overspeeding on highways. So we did push the Thar to its limits in a very controlled highway where it was not open for traffic until now. We pushed the Thar all the way till 170 kmph, and it was very stable at the linear projections. Of course, we did not try fancy things like the cornering at high speeds or at that speeds, but the high speed stability at that speed is fantastic for this car. What is the antenna like thing on the fender? Your answer lies in the question itself. It is nothing else but the antenna. How is the boot space in real life? Yes, real life scenarios are more important than the liters on paper. You could stuff in two big duffel bags, but anything more than that is like being too optimistic, and you would expect a lot of roof carrier options in the aftermarket. What is the mileage? So although we did not do full tank method because of the diverse driving conditions across various geographies, but the automatic return is somewhere around 11.6 kilometer from the estimation that we had in the mixed highway, 70% highway and 30% city driving conditions. So the manual can return somewhere around 12.7 to 12.8. Is the real SUV better than the ultimate SUV? I'm sure the ultimate SUV here refers to the Hyundai Creta. Both are different, like comparing apples and oranges, but as long as they're fruits, so let's compare. See, the thing is, you can never go off-roading in Creta, but you can go off-roading in Thar. It's going to take you places where the Creta can just dream of. But on the contrary, Creta is going to take you different places in a much refined and in a luxurious manner. How is the music system? The vocals are good, they're pretty good for Thar, but the bass is where the problem is, especially at higher pitch, right? There's a lot of jarring effect that comes from the bass. And also I found that for this particular variant, the speakers were biased towards the rear than the front of the car, as in there was more sound coming from the rear speakers than the front speakers. This is not the case in the earlier vehicle that we drove. So on whole I would rate it 6.5 out of 10. Why is the waiting period so long? Waiting period depends on multiple factors, for example the production capacity, etc. And I guess Mahindra was not prepared for the kind of demand that they received and the euphoria that they received for the Thar, and that's where the problem has happened between the supply and demand. And I really wish that the waiting period reduces, because right now it's 5 to 6 months, which is really huge. Mahindra should have actually planned this properly. So we just have a couple of questions left, and I've come to the back seat of the Thar. Also, it gives you an opportunity to check it out. So yeah, recline it all the way back. Do you think that the Thar is a bit overrated? I don't think that the Thar is overrated, but there's a lot of initial euphoria now. I expect it to taper down over a couple of months. In fact, when we drove it close to 2000 kilometers across various places, there were so many people who came to us and they inquired about the car, they checked the car out, and such fanfare was never seen in any of the cars that we reviewed earlier, including the Range Rover Sport that we drove to Kerala. And also it's much improved over the previous Thar, and that is really commendable. So it's highly appreciable about that. And no, I don't think it's overrated. It deserves it. Is this something that will bring Mahindra's share back in the market? Yes, Mahindra has been consistently losing its share of pie to the new contenders in the SUV segment. With this new Thar, it is going to be just like the case of, it might be the case of what Royal Enfield Classic 350 was for Royal Enfield. It will change their fortunes for sure, because they have some amazing new gen products coming up, like the new Scorpio, new XU500. This is just the beginning of a new phase for them. Good luck to them on that. Is it worth buying it for 17 lakhs with so many options around? If so, which variant? Like you said, the top end variants are actually expensive. I think the mid trims make more sense. Paying 17.5 lakhs for the limited utility of the Thar is a bit of a concern. And I think the best variant to go for, generalizing it, the best variant to go for is the diesel and manual. It offers the economy of a diesel and the the flexibility of manual, especially in off-roading. It's going to be very, very helpful. How are the front seats? Are they good for long drives? The front seats are superb. They offer a good view of the road ahead. The driving view is super commanding. It's you feel like you're the king of Mirzapur. And talking about the seats, they're pretty supportive. Much better than the earlier Thar, which were inspired by you don't know what. How does the automatic fare in off-roading? I think the manual mode of automatic is brilliantly tuned, especially the first two gears, which are suited for off-roading. That is, no matter what the RPM is, if you don't change it from yourself, the manual mode of automatic, the gears are not going to upshift, and this gives you a lot of torque in the initial gears. Had it been a case where the gears are changing after a certain RPM, then it would be a big letdown, but that's not the case. This is amazingly tuned for off-roading, the automatic variant of it. But having said that, I really wish that we get an opportunity to check them out in real life. We did check out the diesel manual and we were mightily impressed with it. We have the last question for the day. Wow, what a trump card to end with. Should I trade my Jeep Wrangler for this? I think yeah, because a couple of months down the line, there will be so many Thars in your neighborhood that your neighbors might mistake your Wrangler to be the Thar. Just kidding. I don't think you should trade your Wrangler for the Thar. Keep it. It's a brilliant machine. That's it, guys. So if you still have anything in mind, if you still want to ask anything, please drop them in the comment section below, or feel free to DM on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to answer your queries. If you think that this video made any sense, if you like the video, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram. Take care, drive safe, and more importantly, in these difficult times, stay healthy. Goodbye.